All right, let's just jump right in. Have you ever checked your bank account and not had that little pang of anxiety? Well, there's a specific number, a specific milestone, where that feeling really starts to change. And guess what? It's not $1 million. It's a much more achievable number that can literally rewire how you think about money.
You know, you hear it all the time from financial gurus, right? They're always talking about hitting 6 or 7 figures. But what if they're missing the point? What if the most important, game-changing moment wasn't way up at the top of the mountain, but actually much, much closer to where you're starting from?
So what is it? It's $20,000. For a lot of people, this is the first real threshold. It's the line in the sand that separates the people who will probably build significant wealth from those who might get stuck living paycheck to paycheck forever. Once you hit this number, I'm telling you, everything changes. And not just in your bank account, but up here in your brain.
Getting to that first 20 grand, honestly, it feels like you're pushing a giant boulder uphill. It's this constant strain, you're making agonizingly slow progress, and it feels like gravity is just fighting you every single step of the way. This is, without a doubt, the hardest part of the entire financial journey. See, before you have that cushion, your brain is basically stuck in what psychologists call survival mode. It's not thinking about growth, it's not looking for opportunities. Nope, it's way too busy just putting out fires. You know, making sure rent is paid, keeping the lights on, just surviving until the next paycheck hits.
And here's what that actually sounds like inside your head. When you don't have that buffer, every little expense feels like a crisis. A surprise car repair, oh, it feels like the end of the world. But with that 20 grand saved up, that same car repair is just an annoyance. It's an inconvenience, not a financial apocalypse. All of a sudden, you have options.
And that right there, that's the core of the transformation. Hitting that $20,000 mark isn't just about the money itself. It's about buying back your mental space, creating enough breathing room to shift your entire focus from how do I survive to, okay, how can I grow?
I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures what's happening inside your head. You can't possibly plan for a brighter future when your brain is screaming about the fire that's burning right in front of you. That $20,000, it's the fire extinguisher. It's what finally lets you put out the flames and actually look at a map.
And hey, this isn't just some vague feeling. We can actually measure it. Research from Vanguard shows that having just $2,000 in savings boosts your feeling of financial well-being by a whopping 21%. But look what happens when you get to a full 3 to 6 months of expenses, which for a lot of us is right around that $20,000 mark. You get another huge jump. You've officially created enough breathing room for your brain to start operating on a whole new level.
But it gets even better, because the change isn't just psychological. This is the exact moment when the math starts to work for you instead of against you. Remember that giant boulder you were pushing? Well, it just crested the hill, and now it's starting to roll all by itself.
Think about it. Before this point, investing can feel, well, kind of pointless. A 10% return on 2 grand is $200. I mean, that's nice, but it's not changing your life. But that same 10% return on 20,000, that's $2,000. Okay, now we're talking. That's real money. That's money that can actually make a difference.
And this is where you can actually feel things speeding up. Let's say you're saving $1,000 a month. That first 20 grand is a grind. It takes about 19 months. But the next 20,000, that only takes 17 months. And the one after that, even faster. Why? Because now your own money is working right alongside you. Fast forward a bit, and that same $20,000 gain can happen in just a few months, all while you're putting in the exact same effort.
And here is the aha moment. For the very first time, you can truly feel the power of passive income. $1,600 just shows up over the course of a year because your money was out there working for you. This is the moment you finally get it. You realize wealth isn't just about how hard you work, it's about how hard your money works.
So this financial stability, it doesn't just sit there in your bank account looking pretty. It gives you a new superpower, one that completely changes how you show up in the world, especially when it comes to your career.
And that superpower has a name. It's called walking away money. It's the freedom, the pure power of knowing that if your job turns toxic or a much better opportunity comes along, you can just leave. You're no longer a hostage to your next paycheck. You get to negotiate from a position of strength, not desperation.
And what this does is it kicks off this incredible upward spiral. Just think about it for a second. Having those savings makes you more confident at work. That confidence lets you take smart risks, maybe ask for that big raise. That leads to better performance, which leads to more income, which, of course, lets you save even faster. You see, each step just fuels the next one.
You know what else happens? Your whole perspective on budgeting just flips. You stop agonizing over the tiny things, like whether or not to buy a $3 coffee. You finally realize that's not what's holding you back. All your mental energy can now shift to the huge decisions: your rent, your car, your salary, the stuff that can actually swing your net worth by tens of thousands of dollars.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the trap. This is the most common mistake people make right when they hit this amazing milestone. They see it as a finish line. They see it as a reward that they've earned, something to be spent. That is a critical error. This money isn't a prize, it's a foundation.
So let's just ask a really practical question here. When you're tempted to spend that foundation on something big, like a brand new car, you have to reframe the entire question. You're not just asking, can I afford the payment? You have to ask yourself, what is this really costing me?
Just look at these two paths. Path A is at instant gratification, a new car that loses a huge chunk of its value the second you drive it off the lot. But Path B is strategic. You get a perfectly good, reliable used car, and you invest that $20,000 difference. That money doesn't just vanish, it grows, potentially to over $200,000. The choice isn't really between two cars. It's between a depreciating asset and buying back years of your future freedom.
And that really brings us to the final, most important takeaway. You have to treat this money with the respect it deserves. It's not just cash, it's a seed. And if you protect it, if you plant it and let it grow, it can become the foundation for your entire financial life. Don't spend the seed, plant it.
So the next time you're facing a big financial decision, just pause for a second and ask yourself this. Are you building a solid foundation for your future, or are you just buying a fleeting feeling for today? Your answer to that one question? Well, it might just change everything.